Hello, my name is Sergi Corbalán. I am the coordinator of the Fair Trade Advocacy Office, and I would like to make a brief introduction to what Fair Trade is, what we do here in Brussels at the Fair Trade Advocacy Office, and what the current priorities are. Fair Trade, as you know, is an alternative trading partnership. It tries to empower, link consumers and producers in the South to have an alternative way of doing business. It has different economic, social, and environmental conditions as opposed to conventional trade. That's what Fair Trade is, and the main Fair Trade network set up in 2004 an advocacy office in Brussels, and that is the Fair Trade Advocacy Office that I coordinate. These four networks are the World Fair Trade Organization, representing a large number of producers and traders of fair trade, then the Fair Trade Labeling Organizations International, representing the various labeling initiatives, such as Max Havelaar, for example, in Belgium, and other initiatives in other countries, as well as some producer networks. Then we've got the European Fair Trade Association and the network of European Worldshops. So this is the fair trade movement, I would say, and they decided that they had to speak with a common voice, as it was important to speak out for fair trade and to support marginalized producers and workers in the South. So what do we do? How do we achieve that? That is, of course, a huge task to have this ambition to support small producers and fair trade. We need to focus on some priorities. At this stage, our main areas of activity are linked to, first, more fundamentally, listening to the South, I would say. It's not about imposing solutions from the North, it's about identifying what are the needs, what are the obstacles that prevent producers from trading in fair conditions, and then building a regional and global advocacy strategies to challenge, to change those obstacles, to remove those obstacles. And that is the work we are doing with our friends in Latin America, in Asia, and in Africa. This will finish with a comprehensive strategy, hopefully by April 2010. So that's what we do with other fair trade organizations in the South. Another work we do at international level as well is the work on finding tools and methodologies to empower consumers to know what the added value is of buying fair trade, and I think what difference they're making. Fair trade cannot work if you don't have empowered consumers and empowered producers on the other hand. So we need to make this communication work between the two, and that is very important. Then, well, on a focus on EU policy, which is extremely important, we have as the number one priority to encourage that the EU becomes, I would say, more fair trade friendly, and that the policies of the EU are coherently supporting small producers. Small producers are often those that are marginalized by the current rules and practices of international trade, and that's why we believe that they should be supported in getting it's really, as you know, fair trade is not about charity, it is really about empowering producers to trade their way out of poverty. And in order to do that, we regularly call on the EU to upgrade their policies, to support them. An example of that is a recent publication we have just issued, which is called Aid for Trade. Is the EU helping small producers to trade their way out of poverty, which came to very interesting conclusions that I think it's an analysis about what the EU claims, and the EU and EU member states claim to do on aid for trade and what they do in reality. It's not a black and white picture, of course, that all the aid for trade policies, being at EU level as well as EU member state level, are claiming to support small producers, but then, of course, the success in achieving that aid for trade ultimately benefits small producers differs from country to country. As an overall conclusion, we came down to the, I would say, advice or recommendation that the aid for trade policies need to be carefully designed so that they benefit the poorest sections of society. And that should be the ultimate goal on aid for trade. And for that, we have proposed a number of measures to support small producers. And from a process point of view, we believe that small producers should be also more consulted when it comes to the drafting of aid for trade policies, both in the south and in the north. And then finally, of course, another priority that we have at EU level is that, well, the political environment is changing. We have a new European Parliament. We're going to be having soon a new College of Commissioners, and we are there proposing measures that can be done in support of fair trade and small producers. We can, of course, send you more detailed information if you wish, but overall it is clear that we want the EU to support these groups of small producers as they have a fundamental role in poverty alleviation in their own countries. And we will be working closely with the European Commission, the European Parliament and the other institutions to make it happen. So wish us good luck, because we need it.